You're listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast, where you'll learn about every Jewish topic imaginable in about 10 minutes. As always, I apologize for all of my Hebrew pronunciation. Instead of getting annoyed at how I mangle Hebrew, just laugh at how an AI voice like mine can turn halakha into something that sounds like jalapeno. Today's topic is Orthodox Judaism. When people hear Orthodox Judaism, they often picture black hats, long beards, and maybe a rabbi wagging a finger. But Orthodox Judaism is not a single group. It's a huge spectrum. At its heart, Orthodox Judaism is the branch of Judaism that holds the Torah and halakha, Jewish law, as absolutely binding. Unlike Reform or Conservative Judaism, Orthodoxy insists that the Torah was given directly by God at Sinai and cannot be changed. Of course, there's interpretation, debate, and thousands of pages of commentary, but the framework is fixed. Think of it like the Apple iPhone. The core design is the same, but you can still customize your wallpaper and ringtone. To really understand Orthodox Judaism, you need to know what halakha means. Halakha, which literally means the way or the path, is the system of Jewish law derived from the Torah, Talmud, and centuries of rabbinic rulings. It covers everything from big things like keeping Shabbat, kosher laws, and marriage, to tiny details like how to tie your shoes in the proper order. Orthodox Jews believe halakha isn't just a suggestion. It's a binding contract between God and the Jewish people. That's why you'll hear Orthodox Jews talk about shomer Shabbat, Sabbath observant, or shomer kashrut, keeping kosher. To live an Orthodox Jewish life means fitting your daily schedule around mitzvot, commandments, not the other way around. If you're planning a vacation, halakha tells you where you can stay, when you can fly, and even how you structure your day with prayers. It's like having Google Maps constantly giving directions, except the GPS is halakha and it never lets you take shortcuts. Historically, Orthodox Judaism as a category didn't even exist until the 19th century. Before that, Judaism was basically just Judaism. But when Reform Judaism emerged in Germany, introducing organs in synagogue, sermons in German instead of Hebrew, and relaxed rules about halakha, those Jews who opposed change became known as Orthodox. So, in a way, Orthodox Judaism is defined by resistance. Resistance to modernization that dilutes tradition. Over time, Orthodox Judaism spread from Europe to the United States, Israel, and beyond. And here's the twist. While it resists change in principle, Orthodoxy still evolves in practice. For example, some Orthodox communities ride on horse-drawn carriages on Shabbat, while others rely on Shabbat elevators and skyscrapers. The core idea is the same. Torah law doesn't change, but its application can adapt to new realities. That's why you'll see Orthodox Jews using cell phones with special filters, koshering food factories with modern chemistry, and discussing whether self-driving cars could ever be halakhically permissible. Spoiler, don't expect a rabbinic thumbs up anytime soon. Daily life for Orthodox Jews is structured around prayer, study, and community. Men are typically obligated to pray 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening, using the Siddur, or prayer book. Women's obligations vary depending on community and interpretation, but prayer, modest dress, and observance of Shabbat are central across the board. Shabbat itself is the highlight. From sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, work is set aside and life is infused with rest, meals, singing, and synagogue. Keeping kosher is also non-negotiable. No bacon cheeseburgers, no lobster rolls, and no mixing milk with meat. Instead, Orthodox kitchens are often set up with 2 sets of dishes, 2 sinks, sometimes even 2 ovens, one for meat, one for dairy. Jewish learning is also a lifetime commitment. Torah study, especially Talmud study, is seen as a holy act. That's why you'll see Orthodox Jews in study halls called Batei Midrash debating passages late into the night. If Netflix binge watching is a thing in secular life, Talmud page turning is the Orthodox equivalent. Okay, let's break down the main branches of Orthodox Judaism, because it's not one size fits all. First, you have modern Orthodoxy, which embraces secular education and professional life while remaining committed to halakha. A modern Orthodox Jew might be a doctor, lawyer, or tech entrepreneur and still attend daily minyan. Then there's Haredi Judaism, often called ultra-Orthodox. Haredim tend to be more insular, focusing on Torah study over secular education, often dressing in traditional black and white clothing and maintaining stricter boundaries from the secular world. Within Haredi Judaism, you'll find Hasidic groups, which emphasize spirituality, mysticism, and allegiance to a rebbe, and Litvish or Yeshivish Jews, who emphasize rigorous Talmud study and intellectualism. Finally, there's religious Zionism, more common in Israel, where Orthodox practice is combined with a belief that the state of Israel has religious significance. Each group has its own flavor, but all are committed to Torah and halakha. Think of it like different models of cars: compact, SUV, luxury, but all running on the same fuel. Modern Orthodoxy deserves a little more airtime because it often confuses outsiders. Imagine someone wearing a kippah in a boardroom, observing kosher at home, but also publishing papers in medical journals. That's modern Orthodoxy. It was heavily shaped by Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch in 19th century Germany, who promoted the idea of Torah im derech eretz, meaning Torah alongside worldly engagement. Modern Orthodox Jews send their kids to day schools with dual curriculums, half Torah study, half math and science. They may watch TV, go to college, or participate in politics. But halakha still anchors their lives. Some modern Orthodox synagogues might even have a slightly different vibe. Sermons in English, youth programs, sometimes women with more visible leadership roles, though still within halakhic limits. It's a balancing act, fully engaged in the modern world, but uncompromising in Jewish law. For a pop culture analogy, think of Superman. Clark Kent blends into society, but his core identity never changes. Modern Orthodox Jews live in both worlds, but stay deeply committed to Torah. Haredi, or ultra-Orthodox Judaism, takes a stricter approach. Haredim often prioritize Torah study over secular pursuits. Many Haredi men study full-time in yeshivas, while women work to support the family. Their lifestyle emphasizes separation from secular culture, limited internet access, modest dress codes, and communities structured around religious life. Hasidic Jews, a subset of Haredim, are especially recognizable with their shtreimels, big fur hats, peyos, side curls, and long black coats. But their core isn't just fashion, it's spirituality. Hasidism emphasizes devakut, or closeness to God, often through song, dance, and storytelling. Each Hasidic group follows a rebbe, a spiritual leader seen as a guide and mentor. In contrast, non-Hasidic Haredim, sometimes called Litvish or Yeshivish, focus less on mysticism and more on intellectual Talmud study. The stereotype is that Hasidim dance while Litvaks debate, but both are deeply committed. If modern Orthodoxy is like blending two apps into one smartphone, Haredi Judaism is like setting your phone to airplane mode from Friday evening until Saturday night, and often beyond. Another major branch is religious Zionism, most visible in Israel. Religious Zionists believe the establishment of the State of Israel isn't just political, it's part of God's plan and a step toward redemption. They combine Orthodox halakhic observance with passionate support for the Jewish state, including military service. Their synagogues often have Israeli flags, and their rabbis weave modern Zionist ideals into traditional Torah study. Unlike Haredim, who historically were skeptical or even opposed to Zionism, religious Zionists see settling the land of Israel as a mitzvah. Their communities often feature knitted kippot, earning the nickname kippot saragot, and their culture blends Torah study with national service. In many ways, they stand between modern Orthodoxy and Haredi Judaism, halakhically strict but outward-looking, with a national mission. For analogy, think of it like being both a hardcore fan of a sports team and a stickler for rules. You not only follow the game, but you also believe the team's victory has cosmic significance. For religious Zionists, that team is Israel itself. Despite the differences among these branches, Orthodox Judaism as a whole has been remarkably resilient. In the 20th century, after the devastation of the Holocaust, many thought Orthodoxy would fade in modern secular societies. But instead, it grew. Yeshivas, synagogues, and schools spread across America, Israel, and Europe. The birth rate among Orthodox Jews is higher than other Jewish groups, which has also boosted numbers. In the U.S., neighborhoods like Borough Park and Lakewood are thriving centers of Orthodox life. In Israel, Orthodox political parties wield significant influence. And yet, Orthodox Jews still wrestle with the challenges of modernity, how to use technology without being consumed by it, how to earn a living while prioritizing Torah study, how to interact with broader society while preserving identity. Some communities embrace gradual engagement, Others double down on insulation. Either way, Orthodox Judaism continues to adapt without compromising its core, the Torah, halakha, and an unbroken chain back to Sinai. It's tradition meeting the present, constantly negotiating the line. So to sum up, Orthodox Judaism is not just one uniform block of Jews in black hats. It's a diverse set of communities united by a shared conviction that the Torah is divine, binding, and eternal. From modern Orthodox Jews juggling careers in halakha, to Hasidim singing at a tish, to Litvaks debating Talmud, to religious Zionists serving in the IDF, the Orthodox world is full of variety. What they share is commitment to halakha as the roadmap of Jewish life. For outsiders, it might look restrictive, but for Orthodox Jews, it provides clarity, meaning, and structure. In a world where everything feels up for grabs, Orthodoxy says, here is the anchor. Here is the guide. That doesn't mean it's easy. Orthodox life demands discipline, community support, and sometimes sacrifice. But it's also full of joy, tradition, and continuity. Thanks for listening to the Everything Jewish podcast. If you enjoyed this, send it to a friend, or better yet, write a review. Trust me, it helps more than you know.